Hello there, Internet. Today is Thursday, August the 28th, the tail end of summer. For many of you, school starts. For many of you, summer is ending. For many of us, summer never started. Here in Canada, we've only had one warm day out of the entire summer season. But I digress. I've just gotten back from Magic Camp. Well, not really just. I would say about a week I've gotten back from Magic Camp. It's just taken a long time to recuperate, get caught up with everything for Illusionist. But essentially, I just want to give you a quick rundown of what was there. The special guest this year was Aussie Wind, who is a fantastic mentalism. Right now he's based out of New York, but if I recall correctly, he's Israeli. His act was amazing. Steve Valentine, who is an actor and a magician as well. Currently, he's got a Magic Castle lecture. He performs there. He is acting. He lives in Toronto as well as LA. Fantastic meeting him. I've watched him on a TV show called Crossing Jordan, and at first I didn't realize it was him. I was thinking to myself, oh, kind of looks like that guy. Turns out it was that guy. It's been a great week. It was a shorter week than usual. That was just due to the way it was part of the weekend, as well as how camp starts and stops. But we all got there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It was great weather, except for Saturday. Saturday rained a little bit. Steve did a lecture after hours for all the staff and stuff, as did Aussie. And at the last day of, the last full day of camp anyways, Aussie Wind did his performance as well. A full one-man show. For many of you who've never been to Magic Camp, or a Magic Camp, traditionally what happens is we get a bunch of performers who perform every single night. That way you've got like maybe 3 or 4 different acts, 15 to 20 minutes for each act, and everything's great. However, Aussie preferred to do his entire show. I'm not sure if it was his entire show, but a long show. So he was up for about an hour and a half, and it was brilliant. He did a really good job. Everybody loved him. He got a standing ovation, and as a result, ended up selling a ton of stuff as well. I also met Ryan Edwards, the gentleman who makes these nice leather-bound card clips. I just zoom in. Oh, there you go. Nice leather-bound card clips. I got this last year when I saw it with Justin Flom. Got it engraved as well. Saw a bunch that he was selling at camp. He sold a bunch to Luke Germain. His were on display. Germain since has his now, and I got a chance to look at all of those. So if you want really something that it is unique and classy, get a Porper card clip, covered with leather, engraved with your name. Absolutely nice to have. And this is, I've had it in my pocket for a good solid year, and it's held up. It's very durable. So give Ryan Edwards a check. Things I bought while at camp here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to step out of frame. Where did they all go? Okay. Oh, here we go. A series of unfortunate, I'm going to step in for this, a series of unfortunate effects starring Ben Train. This actually came out last year, but I saw the video last year, and it's really neat. There's a magician's version of the video as well as a layman's version, and there's the two versions because it's kind of like Lee Asher's videos, like 5-Card Stud and his movie magic videos, where you've got like a series of magicians in, not a series of magicians, a group of magicians in Toronto going from point A to point B, acting out a whatever. It's literally been a year since I've seen this. Ben previewed it at camp, and it was fantastic, great reviews, and as a result, had pre-orders. So I pre-ordered last year. I got it maybe a month ago. That's how long this pre-order took to get. A lot of good effects. The one that was my favorite is very angle heavy and sensitive, angle sensitive and technically heavy. But it is good. It's like I said, it's been a year since I've seen this, but I will be checking this out again. Definitely pick that one up. Steve Valentine, here we go. Picked up his video, his Magic Castle lecture, part 1, so I'm going to assume there's a part 2, possibly a part 3. Also picked up his work on the card through cloth. I saw him do some electives on this at camp. Basically what happens at camp, myself anyways, I taught card classes every morning, and then in the afternoons I would do an elective. My first elective was on psychokinetic silverware. My version of it using extremely heavy-duty forks. I could really only do the first 2 phases because these forks were so strong. Twisting and bending the tines, not really possible. So I did psychokinetic silverware elective. I did card warp as well as out of this world. A couple of my really favorite effects. Next year I think I'm going to learn a few more other things and go up and teach those and see if it goes over well. So yeah, so Steve Valentine did a card through cloth elective. He did a book test. I'm not a fan of book tests, but it was a very good one as well. And that's his book test DVD. And then he has a 3-card routine, which is absolutely brilliant. If you can get your hands on this, by all means get it. This is probably one of the most fun little packet tricks I've ever seen in a long time. Most of the time packet tricks aren't really, you know, they're not really fun. They're just there. This was a very fun packet trick. And I gotta say, like, you know, as soon as I saw it, I picked it up. As well as Ozzy Wynn stuff. These are all based on his show. I'll start with the one that that I wasn't fond of, not because it wasn't performed well. It's a preference, which is Time Is Money, which is a Bill Underwatch routine. He did that in his show, and you know, it was good. It got the reactions. However, it just didn't really. It didn't talk to me. So you know, that's okay. Like, you know, not everyone's going to love everything. I'm sure a lot of the things that I do, you guys don't love. 3-card routines, and I got this for his any card at any number. If it's the same one he did in his show, basically it was brilliant and had me puzzled. I'm not going to perform this, I just want to know how it's done. This is why I picked this up. He also did Switcher, which is a book switch. Basically a selected page is torn from a book, is burned, and then is restored magically in a book with this person's signature, if I'm not mistaken. Is no signature, but the book is held in their hands the entire time, so it's really good. The one I really liked is Catch 23. Basically, 4 spectators come up on stage. They are given a choice of envelopes, 5 envelopes numbered 1 through 5. They are, to me, what was a free choice. Anytime they could have changed their mind or choose a different envelope, stood in a different order. So the 4 envelopes get handed out, and Ozzy says the last envelope has something that everybody wants. Rips it open. Inside is a check. The check is made out for a specific amount. That amount is the actual numbers in which they are order in which they are standing. So if you had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, the check was written out to $1,234. And then inside each of their envelopes was statements as well. So the girl with brown hair opened hers and said, you know, this will be held by a girl with brown hair. The one with glasses, this will be held by a guy with glasses. This one will be held by Jeff, and so on. Very, very, very good. Again, I'm not going to perform this. I just want to know how it's done because I like how people think. I like the thinking and the structure of a lot of magic, and I like how it's built. The psychology of magic and why it works has always been appealing to me. Not how it works, but why it works. 2 completely different phrases for a 3-letter word. How it works is the method, the methodology, and technique, etc. Why it works is the psychology and the thinking behind it, and how everything is built and structured, and the reasons why people do things. That's the part I love about magic the most. So we left camp a day early, technically half a day early, hightailed it over to the Muskoka area, Port Carling if I'm not mistaken, where a friend of mine runs a restaurant that is actually a pier right on a lake, Lake Rousseau. And then took us out on a tour of the lake for about an hour and a half, where I got sunburn on my head because I wasn't expecting it. And then from there we went down to Toronto and stayed overnight in Toronto. This is when I say we, I mean my wife, my family, and my daughter, because we were going to the zoo the next day. And the last thing you want to do is, you know, truck all the way to Niagara Falls, where we live, and then hightail it all the way back over to the other side of Toronto to go to the zoo. So we stayed in Toronto, had a little fun there. And as we were going to our hotel that we were staying in, you can't go to Toronto without visiting the Browser's Den of Magic. My good friend Jeff Pinsky runs the Browser's Den of Magic, and if you are lucky enough to have a store in your city or state or nearby, you have to visit it at least once or twice a year. These places are invaluable. There's no amount of value that can be placed on having an actual brick and mortar store, having someone there who kind of gets to know you and knows what you like and knows what you might be interested in. So as a result, I picked up a few books, because we all know I like books. So give me 1 second. Okay, so the Magic Way by Juan Tamariz. Ben Train recommended this to me. I probably would have picked it up anyways, but he actually said this is a very, very, very good read. He didn't really give me any details as to what's what it was about, but personally, anything by Juan Tamariz, who is a European, very, very well known European magician, and well known in North America as well. But he is huge, monstrous in Europe. Anything by him is fantastic. I've got a few other of his books, and they are all very brilliant reads. A lot of good thinking behind those. Next, I bought The Complete Al Leech. This is basically based on a recommendation from Jeff. I just like reading card magic, different sleights and different types of effects, things like that. I don't know much about it, so I won't lie. However, he said that I would like this. And then the science behind Pepper's Ghost. This is actually not a magic book, more of a magic biography. Many of you may or may not know that Pepper's Ghost back in the day was one of the original illusions where a ghost would seem to materialize on stage. And this is basically all the variations, performances, biographies of the performances, technical drawings. Really, really well done. I like these. Jim Steinmeier wrote this book, and he's written quite a few in my library, all about history and biographies, getting to know the roots of magic. And you guys need to know where you've come from in order to know where you're going. I know it sounds kind of hokey, and especially in the day of the internet where information is so freely available, and we're going from one trick to the next trick to the next trick. It's very important to know what's been done, because nobody likes doing something that was done before, and the last thing you want to do is maybe create an effect that has already been created back in 1920 or 1850 or whatever. So it's very important to actually just, have even if it's not like a detailed one, but to have a basic knowledge and understanding of the history of magic. There are a few people like Di Vernon who have fundamentally pushed close-up card magic and the thought of magic further along than any one person imaginable. And so, like, people like this, you need to know and figure out, and not figure out, but know and understand, and at least have a basic understanding of where they came from, where they were going, and how that applies to the magic and the technique and the thought and the thinking that you're doing. And then lastly, which is a weird book, I'll show you why. Mr. Electric by Marvin Roy. Not a new book, but I've always wanted this, and again, it's a biography as well. And I picked this up just a few weeks ago. The reason I picked it up is because of what I believe to be the first ever magic book on CD. Yeah, you heard me right. This book comes on, I think it was like 10 discs. Yeah, 10 discs. You pop into your car, CD player, whatever, and away you go. Myself, I'll probably be ripping these and listening to them on, via iTunes or on my car or whatever. I don't use CD players anymore, but I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was actually, a really good idea, especially for this genre of book, where there's no nothing being taught. Like, you don't need to see images or pictures or anything like that. You can just sit and listen. So I got this specifically for this, not the actual book, which is unusual. So on that note, that is everything. That is my travels. We've done a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of catching up for the week. We just recently released a Germain book, which I bought. I don't have it yet, but I know what's in it because I've seen some proofs and such, and I'm looking forward to being able to get a hold of that, look at it and read it, and basically dissect some of Luc Germain's work. I've always been a fan of his, especially with some of his earlier printouts, like pamphlets, brochures, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm looking forward to that. I bought a few other things. I bought some cards from the Conjuring Art Society. I was going to support the Seasons decks on Kickstarter. However, $200 for like 12 decks of cards just really doesn't sit well with me. I know I've got a few already, but that's just too much for 12 decks of cards. So I wish that guy well. I forget. I just looked at it. I know his name. But the Seasons playing cards, go support them on Kickstarter. They are beautiful, beautiful decks of cards. I'm hoping that once the Kickstarter campaign has been fully funded, the cards will actually be printed and be sold to basic consumers as well. I know that I could have gotten maybe 1 or 2 decks, but I really do prefer a brick of each color. And I would expect a brick of each color to cost me $150 at the most, not just 12 decks to cost me $200. And that's why I'm not supporting the campaign. I support him. I implore you to go support him if you choose to invest in these cards or get some of the limited editions. It's just something I chose not to do. And other than that, there's really nothing else going on. My next video, I really want to give you guys my chicken wing recipe. And I'm kind of at odds as how to do this because I know for a fact my wife is going to come in and look at me recording myself making chicken wings and just call me stupid, like, what the hell are you doing, like, you're a moron, like, you fool, and probably laugh quite a bit as well, because if you know my wife, she's very, she likes to laugh at her husband, so, not in a mean way, but like this guy, I can't believe him. So, but I really want to give you that chicken wing recipe because so far my mother-in-law, my mother-in-law has used my chicken wing recipe, 2 of my sister-in-laws, as well as the cook at the restaurant that I used to work at. So it's a good recipe. I cannot begin to tell you how much I love these chicken wings. I don't eat deep fried chicken wings anymore. I make them the way I make them, and that's the only way I'll eat them. So I'll try and do that maybe next week. I've got a lot of things going on next week, so it might not be till like maybe Saturday or Sunday. In the meantime, I'll try and do some quick updates, do a just a quick hello. But this is the big update that I wanted to give you guys after getting back from Magic Camp, a week at camp, a couple days at the zoo. Well, it's not a couple days, but one day at the zoo. And a piece of advice: if any of you go to the zoo or any zoo with a young child, get a stroller or a wagon. A must. The last thing you want to do is carry around a grumpy 6-year-old for half the day because she's too tired to walk. So on that note, you guys have a really good Thursday. I will not see you, but I'll talk to you guys later. Adios, peace out, have a good day.